Welcome to Modern Church Leader, a short daily show to help you grow your church, be more effective and efficient, and powerful for the kingdom of God.
The design of your church website, it's the first impression. It's what someone's going to sense when a friend tells them to check out your church and come, learn all about it. And so all of a sudden, that impression is either going to be a church that's dated, or a church that's really modern, or a church that's really welcoming, or a church that's really difficult and challenging. And so taking the time to really do a good job of designing your site can make all that difference for that person wanting to take the next step, which is either to come visit you on a Sunday morning, to come to one of your events, and we want to help encourage people as they're in that process. A lot of churches, the reason they might not have a well-designed website is that maybe at the time the budget wasn't there. And so they either had to maybe take the cheapest contractor, or they had to find a volunteer. And we love volunteers. They're the lifeblood of the church, but sometimes maybe that's not the best designer that was available to you. And so often your site can end up with lacking in some areas that maybe left you with a design that left a bit to be desired. Or maybe it was beautifully designed, but we just see that how fast the web changes over time. And so maybe now the design has just simply fallen out of date and maybe is kind of lacking in some areas, or the site has just broken over time and different people getting in there with different and new content has left the design really broken. And so that's sometimes why your design might not be where you want it to be. In order to solve this problem well, I think what you want to do is be on a platform that allows your design to be dynamic, which means it allows you to set it up in such a way that you can add the content you want and things are still going to look really good. You're not set up in a rigid way, because the reality is that the week after you launch your website, you're going to want to make some changes. That's just the reality of running a church. So there's always things happening. And so we want to be on a platform that allows us to make those changes. We want to use large, engaging images. That is such a key factor when people are on a site. Are the images engaged? It's not just about the design. It's not just about the colors you use, but it's also about those images and how they kind of portray your community. So really take the time to set up the right images, and then just really following good design principles. So making sure there's enough white space, making sure you're good use of typography. And so again, not every church leader or volunteer is going to have that ability. And so to really understand what those are to help the design breathe, it's incredible how kind of subconscious those design principles can be. If there's white space, we feel at calm when we're looking at a design. If it's cluttered and there's no space between things, then it just can instantly, raise up anxiety as people are on your site and they're not going to want to be there too much longer. And finally, I think one key tip that I'd really want to stress is to move your church onto a platform that's going to allow your site to adjust its design over time. Because as the needs come and go, or as the church does a rebrand, I think having to build an entirely new website can become incredibly costly. It can take a lot of time. And so you want to get on a platform that'll actually allow you to make those adjustments without having to rebuild the entire site from scratch. So this is actually one area of Tidely sites that I love, is that we allow you to jump into an area we call site design, where you can actually adjust the headers, adjust the footers, adjust the colors, adjust all the default images, and really set those things up. And then let's say one day you decide, you know what, we want to rethink things completely. There's no additional cost. There's no additional, we need a new developer now. You actually can just jump right in there and completely pick from a new template, or just go and tweak that design as much as you want to, so that it feels like where your church is now and the design you're looking for today. So the key things I think churches want to think about is you want a website that's going to allow you to adjust content ongoing without completely breaking your design. Because the reality is that the week after you launch your website, you're going to want to change things, and we still want that site to look great. So be on a platform that allows your content to change and evolve and still look good. 2 is to use really strong design principles. And with that, I'm not talking about anything too technical. It just means leaving white space, letting the content breathe. It's amazing how much of a subconscious difference that can make for a site that feels cluttered and uncomfortable versus one that lets you breathe and lets you just take your time through it, and you're actually okay to hang out on for a little while. And finally, the third one is that the needs of your church brand will evolve over time. So you want to be on a platform that's actually going to allow you to jump in and change the design without having to scrap the whole website and build a whole new one, or call a developer and have to pay them a whole bunch of money. Those are some 3 really key pieces there. And so what's really fun is that Tidely Sites allows you to do all those things and easily jump into your settings and actually make all those changes.
Thanks for listening. Please review Modern Church Leader on Apple Podcasts and visit our website for more resources at tithe.ly, or follow the links in the show notes.